Alright guys, so today we're going to talk a little bit about wildlife photography in general and what does that require, because it requires a lot of stuff. And I'm going to give you three, I'll say, reasons not to start wildlife photography, but three big points to think about if you are trying to start into wildlife photography. First one, it's time, and probably like any other photography related activity, it requires time, a lot of time. And unfortunately, to have family and responsibilities, and to not be able to dedicate enough time to this trade, it's a little bit weird, because you're gonna start feeling overwhelmed, and I do feel overwhelmed every day. And that's because I do have responsibilities. I have to take my kid to school in the morning, and that basically ruins the start of the day for going out and photograph birds and wildlife when the wildlife is actually roaming and thriving. And then I'm only left with the sunset, and obviously during the day, if it's overcast, then it's gonna be soon, but mainly for the beautiful orange or golden light. The sunrise and the sunset are the best days to the best times to go out, and for me it's very tough. So time is probably one of the most important things to think about if you are trying to start such a demanding genre of photography. Now, the second one, and this one is related to time, it's actually the time that you are willing to put when is about waiting. And wildlife photography, it's a lot about waiting. You're waiting for the birds to move, you're waiting for them to behave and do something. You're waiting for action, you're waiting to get the birds. Sometimes they're not there. And I'm not the guy to just sit in a hide and wait for the birds, but there's still a lot of waiting. So if you are not willing to put up with waiting, and if you are an anxious photographer, happy trigger. I believe that wildlife photography is not necessarily for you. Good thing about it is that it clears your mind, and while you're waiting, you make things or make peace with everything that you have on your mind. All your demons are going away. And yeah, this is, by the way, a park next to me, and I'm shooting some beautiful, I think they're called bluebirds of California. Like I said, don't know everything, but every time I'm finding something new, I'm uh, I'm very happy to capture it. It's all about photography, isn't it? Now that we've talked about time, we probably need to talk about money as well. And money is important, or are important, because to get into wildlife photography, you need a little bit of a chunk. You need to put together at least, I would say, $1,200 to $1,500, in my opinion, to get a setup that will basically give you enough leeway to photograph most of the wildlife, birds, mammals, and so on, and so insects, and so on and so forth. So $1,500, it's not easy money, not for everyone, and especially when you're starting into wildlife, it's a little bit cumbersome. I'm not saying you can't do wildlife with lower than that, probably around 800, 1,000, if you're buying used gear from yesteryear. There are so many good lenses and cameras from Canon and Nikon, old DSLRs. If you wanna do mirrorless, you're probably gonna have to step it up a little bit though. And the whole idea of spending money, it's actually directly related to what exactly are you looking for when you're starting into wildlife. You want to become a wildlife photographer or a conservational photographer. You want to just do it for fun and go for walks in the parks and trails and photograph whatever you see, or do you want to do it as a job? And that is very important because it's better to invest gradually so you don't feel the, let's say, loss in one shot. The whole thing is a little bit cumbersome, but it is what it is. You can get amazing images with, let's say, low budget gear, but that will be very, very rare, and you need to get very, very lucky. Now, another interesting point in all this is you have to put up with people that are always curious of what you're doing, seeing you with this kind of crazy lenses, pointing sometimes towards them if they're around, sometimes towards, I don't know, their path is, and they're always curious if you're photographing them or whatever you're photographing. And you have to basically be nice all the time and tell them that no, you're looking for birds, you're looking for wildlife, not them. And if you point it towards them, is because that's where the wildlife was. And sometimes it's funny because you see a very, I don't know, peaceful smile on their faces, knowing that it wasn't them. And I know that these days, with all the things that happening, people are kind of scared, and I understand that. But sometimes it's a little bit annoying to get questions every single time when you're shooting, especially in, let's say, public spaces and not reservations and stuff like that, though it might happen at that point as well. And yeah, well, you have to deal with it. And finally, the last one is actually the one that it's a little bit controversial. And it's because some people consider that editing photos, it's not necessary. But when it comes to wildlife, because we're shooting most of the time in low light, because we're using high ISOs, and you basically force your camera to photograph not whatever you see, but whatever it needs to be seen, we kind of need to edit our photos. So if you are thinking about going into wildlife photography, based on the gear or the equipment that you are gonna buy, you have to basically adapt your computer to that. For example, the Z8 has a 45 megapixel sensor, and that puts a little bit of a strain on my computer, which is an Mac Mini M4. And I'm thinking about upgrading because I am not able to literally edit the photos without hiccups, or having an editing session that goes fluid, that goes smooth. Every time it needs to be something. I don't get, let's say, crashes, but most of the time I'm getting slows, and it's a little bit cumbersome. And when I'm editing 2-3 photos, it's okay. When I'm editing 20, it's not that fine. So the other thing is, maybe we should put in the money, because it's all about whatever gear you were buying. Consider the same equipment or the same value equipment for your editing rig. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. Like I said, I was on the trail in a park. I photographed a few blue birds. I think that's how they're called. I'm gonna put the name here. Like I said, I'm not an all knowing person, so not when it comes to birds. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to be here for the next videos, because there's gonna be a lot coming up. Even with the time constraint, I'm gonna try to put up a lot of videos. And maybe if you're inclined of seeing what I'm doing, you should watch this video right here. I'll see you soon.